Hello Year 4, this is your English lesson for Friday the 5th of February. I just want to start by saying a huge well done for your writing yesterday. I know it was a lot of writing trying to get your whole story written, wasn't it? So I know a few of you didn't finish it all, that's okay, don't worry, you'll have a chance to finish today. But just a massive well done. We were really impressed with the quality of your writing, particularly using paragraphs, and really loved some of the language that we saw people using. So some powerful verbs, expanded noun phrases, and those fronted adverbials we've worked on as well. So a huge well done. Most of you that I saw did manage to go back and do some editing, but if you didn't, I would like you to pause the video now and go back and have a go at editing your work, okay? So you'll need to check for things like spellings, missing words, and use the steps to success to just make sure you've included all of your features that you need to include, okay? So pause the video and have a look back and do your editing. If you have already done that, that's fine, we'll keep going, but do try to make improvements as we go today, because today we're going to be publishing our work. So just a reminder, expanded noun phrases are our writing target. If you're with somebody or you're in school with the Key Worker group, it would be lovely to share some of those now from your writing. So have a look at what you wrote yesterday. Did you use some expanded noun phrases maybe for your character, your setting, or your disaster? Take a moment to share some of those now. Okay, just to warm us up then, and we are coming to the end of our unit of work, so we'll also be moving on to a new English target soon. So I just wanted to finish this unit with a quick quiz to see how you've understood expanded noun phrases. Now, because it's a quiz, I want to see how you get on individually, so I can't share it with all of you on here. So what I would like you to do is pause the video in a moment and use the link. I've put the link on here, and it's also on the daily plan today. So use that link, it will take you to a BBC web page, and what you need to do is scroll down to activity 2. So it's quite far down the page. So use the link, you'll see a page all about expanded noun phrases. There's some teaching information and things to help you learn, but if you scroll down, you'll then find the quiz, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so it says quiz, and you've got this character here. So look for that, and there's 6 questions for you to have a go at, just to see if you can identify the expanded noun phrases in the sentence that they give you, okay? So it's activity 2, and it says complete the activity below by clicking on the words that make up an expanded noun phrase. You will need to click on the determiner, the noun, and the adjective separately, okay? So for each one, there's usually 3 boxes. You need to click on 3 words, and it will tick boxes at the bottom, and then it will show you if you were incorrect or correct. So have a go at that now. Pause this video, use the link to just have a quick go at that expanded noun phrase quiz, and you can let me know later what score you got. You could write it in your exercise book or send it to me on a message on Class Dojo, okay? So pause the video, have a go at that now, and then come back to this video and we'll have a look at what we're doing today. So our walk for today is to publish our writing. So we are going to think about what the word publish means. First of all though, let's think back to our natural disasters. Can you picture the scene from your description? So I would like you to have a look at the part of your story where you described the natural disaster. Did you manage to describe what was happening, and can you picture the scene? So when I say picture the scene, what I want to know is, can you imagine what the character could hear, what they could see, perhaps what they could smell even? Also, how the character was feeling is really important. So think about your character's actions at that point. In my story yesterday, we had Claudia rooted to the spot because she was so shocked and amazed by what was happening, and also scared. So try to see if you can see how your character is feeling as well. So read your description section, see if you have managed to describe the scene in enough detail that you can picture it in your mind. Okay, so today you are going to publish your story, but what does publish mean? What do we mean when we say publish? So again, if you're with somebody, you can discuss this now. If not, just think to yourself, and I'll share what publish means in just a moment. So publishing means your final best copy of your writing is going to be either written out or typed out as your final piece of work. Okay, so you've written your story, you've done all of your editing, you've added improvements, and now you are publishing it for people to read. So when authors write their books, they spend a lot of time editing their work. They have other people check their work, they have other people read their stories, see if they like them, see any improvements they can make. And when they are finally happy with their work, the work gets published into books for people to read, okay? So today we are going to be publishers and publish your final stories with all of the improvements that you've made and all of the details and corrections that you've added in. So you could publish your writing using a computer program, such as Microsoft Word or Publisher. Alternatively, if you can't use a computer at home, that's fine. You could write it out neatly in your best handwriting. So the choice is yours today. But what I would say, as I've said before, is don't nag your parents. If they need the computer for their work, then that's fine. You'll have to do yours in your best handwriting, okay? So different options for publishing your work today, and it would be nice to see different examples of how people have published their work. Some of you might prefer to just practice your handwriting to write your story out really neatly with all of the improvements in. So it's up to you how you publish your work today. We would love to display some of your stories in school for everyone to see. So the idea of publishing is to share our final piece of work with other people, isn't it? Just like authors publish their stories and share books with people to buy and enjoy, we want to share your stories for people to enjoy. So we would like to put these on display when we're back in school. So do take care with writing up your stories today, or typing up if you're typing them up, and we'll be able to share those when we get back into school and we're back together. So what will we need to consider if we're publishing our writing? What do you need to consider? We are wanting this to be our best final piece of work. So what do we need to consider? What will our steps to success be? I'm going to type some on here now. If you're with somebody, it would be great if you can have a discussion about this, or if you're in our key worker group, you can pause the video now and come up with the steps to success. But I will also add some on in just a moment for us to look at together. Okay, so the first thing I want to remind you is you need to make sure you have included all of the steps to success. So I'm going to put include all of the steps to success for our writing. I'll put, because I mean the ones that we use to actually help us with our writing. So using expanded noun phrases, powerful verbs, adverbs of manner, all of those things that we wanted to see in your writing. Okay. The next thing I was thinking about was your corrections. When you write out work, sometimes it's easy to forget the corrections we've made, and we end up writing out the original version rather than our improved version, or typing out our original version rather than our improved version. So what I want to say is include your improvements. I'm also going to put make more improvements. So as you're typing or writing today, if you come to a word and you think, oh, I think I could use a better word there, then change it. Please do, okay? You have got time to add to your work today. It doesn't need to be exactly as you finished it yesterday. As you're typing, I'm sure things will come to you and you'll think, actually, I know a better word for that. Or hang on, I've used the at the start of my sentence again when I should have used a fronted adverbial. So add more improvements as you are publishing your work today. That's really important. Now I'm thinking about if you're writing it out. So I'm going to say, use your best handwriting. And I'm going to put small, neat and joined, actually. We need to see those joins. It would be lovely if when we're back in school, we can give out some more pen licenses. So if you are writing this out, then really take care to have small, neat and joined handwriting, please. Think about what we've worked on in school with doing your cursive writing, so linking in, starting all of your letters on the line. And remember, if a letter ends at the top like an O, then we don't join it to the next letter, okay? And don't forget your ascenders and your descenders. So H for an ascender, G for a descender, get those on the lines nice and neatly, okay, or over the lines. So really take care of that handwriting. Now, if you're typing, then we need to think about fonts. So I'm going to say sensible, no, I'm going to say a clear, choose a clear and appropriately sized, I want to say, clear and good sized font. So we don't want really fancy fonts that we can't read because they're so squirrely or so many pictures that we can't actually read them. And we don't want fonts that are enormous and we can't fit our writing on the page. And we don't want fonts that are so small that we can't read them. So usually when you're typing, I would say a font around size 12 or maybe 11 is perfect, okay? So try to pick a font size around that, 12 or 11, possibly 14, but that would no bigger than 14. But also make sure it's a clear font. So I know there's some really lovely fonts on Word and on Publisher, but don't pick a font that's really hard for people to read. Make sure they can read it. You'll see that we always use this font in school, this XCCW joined 15A. So if you want to use a cursive font like we do in school, then that's a really good one to use if you've got it on your computer. Some might not have it on, so don't worry if you don't have it, just pick something that you like and is clear to read. The other thing I want to say is add a catchy title, something like that. Add a catchy title. So if you're writing this out, maybe I don't want catchy, add a catchy and I'm going to put decorative title. So if you're typing this out, you can use word art for your title. That would be really nice. If you are writing this out, then you could perhaps do bubble writing or just larger font to actually show your title really clearly, okay? The other thing I thought about was including a picture. People really like pictures when they read stories, don't they? It helps them to picture the scene and to imagine what's happening and see in more detail what's in your mind as the author. So I'm going to say include a picture. So again, if you're doing this on a computer, you could find a picture off the internet. If you're writing this out, then you can draw your own picture to go with it. Okay. I think that's all of the steps to success I want to include, but you might have some others. So do put in any extras that you want. Let's have a look then. Emmett's had a go at this. So let's have a look at Emmett's example just before we finish, and then we can see, has Emmett used those steps to success that we've just created? So Emmett chose to do his on the computer. He's got The Day the Earth Shook by Emmy, loads of exclamation marks, and then I can't read that first sentence because the font's a bit too squirrely, so I can't read that one. Then he's got all of a sudden a huge deep crack ripped through the hard grey ground. Claudia couldn't believe it. She stood rooted to the, what does that say? I think that word is spot, but it's a bit tiny, so I can't really see. And then he's got a really big picture there to show us how the earth cracked, and that's right in the middle of the writing, really big. So what do you think? Has Emmett used our steps to success? So if you can, pause the video and have a discussion with somebody here. If you've got nobody to talk to and you're working on your own at the moment, that's fine. Just think to yourself, how has Emmett done? What could he do better? Okay, I hope you've had a chance to discuss that. So let's look through. He's got The Day the Earth Shook. He's used a different font for that and a different colour. I actually really like Emmett's title because it really stands out. He's got his capital letters and an exclamation mark. So I think that's quite decorative and catchy, like we said. Then he's put by Emmy and loads of exclamation marks. I don't really like that. If we're an author and we are publishing our work, then we need to be a little bit formal, don't we? So I'm going to change that. We don't want all of those exclamation marks. We just want by Emmett. That's better. Right, now this sentence I couldn't read because his font was too squirrely and too small that I couldn't read it. So he needs to pick a different font there. That's not a very good font to pick. It actually was quite a large font there, wasn't it? Let me find this one that we use often. That's better, now I can read it. The sky began to darken, all of a sudden, a huge, deep, I don't know why huge and deeper in bold and deep so big. Let me just change those then. So I'll take bold off and make sure those fonts are a similar size. That's better. Oh, it's still in bold. Let me just change that. I don't know why that's coming from bold. There we go. The sky began to darken. Now, hang on, we've got a full stop there and we've got all with no capital letter. So Emmett still needs to remember his punctuation, doesn't he? His capitalization when he's writing. So don't forget your English skills, particularly if you're working on a computer. It can be really easy to forget things like capital letters and punctuation. So So really make sure you include those. So we've got all of a sudden a huge deep crack, rip through the hard. That doesn't make sense, does it? He means ripped. Okay, so read carefully, make sure you've copied your words carefully so that they make sense. Ripped through the hard grey ground. Full stop. Claudia, he's forgotten his capital letter again. I'm going to have to change that. So capital letter for Claudia. Couldn't believe it. Exclamation mark. That's good. Again, he's forgotten his capital letter again. He's not doing very well with his capitals, is he? She stood rooted to the, we think that says spot, don't we? But it's too small. So let me just change. Oh yeah, look, it's size 8. That's far too small. So I'm going to put it a bit bigger on here, 14, but no bigger than that. Okay, usually we pick around a size font 12, but I've just made it a bit bigger so you can see it. Now, I like the fact that he included a picture, but I don't want the whole page taken up with a picture, do I? So I'm just going to make that a bit smaller and perhaps put it down in the bottom corner so he's got more room to write, okay? So hopefully you can learn from Emmett's mistakes. Make sure you pick fonts that are clear. Make sure you include your punctuation and all of the things that we've talked about. A picture is lovely, but just make sure it's not too big, okay? So I'll leave those steps to success on to help you with your writing today. Don't forget, when you finish publishing your work, you can let me know how you got on with the learning pit. And again, it's your choice. You can either do this on a computer program, such as Microsoft Word or Publisher, or if you're not able to use a computer, perhaps your parents need it or you haven't got one at home, then write this out neatly in your best handwriting in your exercise book, okay? So best of luck. We can't wait to see your published stories. I hope you're really proud of them. You've worked so hard on this. So this is a real celebration of all of the work that we've been doing this term. Well done, Year 4. Look forward to seeing your work later.